And welcome to a segment known as Divali Khaana. Yesterday I had the opportunity to share in this moment with Chef Ahmed Raval of Amtar's Fine Foods Catering Limited. Chef Raval, as he is commonly known or referred to in the culinary fraternity. And tonight we have the extra pleasure and delight of sharing the stage and the kitchen with Siddhi Sankar, representing Chatak Foods Limited. Good evening, Siddhi.
Good evening. Sitaram, everyone. Good night. And happy Diwali in advance. You will be seeing more of me on this stage.
I hope so.
So, basically what we're going to do here today is, and for the rest of the night, is present to you an array of Diwali foods that you can prepare easily, economically, and very quickly. So today I'm going to jump right in because I'm seeing my pot boiling one time. So in our pot we have crystal water. And we have about 2.5 cups of crystal water, and I'm going to add 1 pound of rainbow granulated sugar. So this pack is approximately 2 pounds, so I'm just going to add, averaging of course, like how Trinis cook, half a pack.
Okay, so we've got a pound of rainbow pure white sugar.
Right, and this what we are forming.
Now you started cooking, but you didn't tell everybody what we're making yet, you know.
Right. So I want to go and do that now. But what we're making here is a simple sugar, and sugar is one of the ingredients that we use in all our Diwali sweets. So as it is, we're going to make Diwali sweets today. And what we're going to make in particular is Peera and Laddoo, two very famous sweets that I know happen in most households. It's pretty time consuming to make, but it does bring the family together.
It does.
So I'm going to introduce to you Peera first. Now Peera is made with a combination of country pride flour or Nutrimix flour and water. That's the base for Peera basically. And what you do is that you add the flour and the water and you form a dough. This dough is then cooked onto the tawa like a roti. It's cut into pieces, fried, ground, you're catching me here?
Following.
To form a powder similar to this. So this is a meal that is made by Chatak Foods to help you make Peera at home easier. So once you reach this step, all you have to do is add your spices, your simple sugar syrup, that's what we start in there.
Yes.
And you're done.
How much time does this mixture shave off of my time spent in the kitchen?
Maybe like about 4 hours.
4 hours?
Yeah.
My
Because you
goodness.
have to knead that dough, make the flour roti, cut it into pieces, fry it, let it cool, grind it, and then you get this. So I'm going to pour it out into a bowl so that you get an idea as to what the product really is.
Okay, and while Siddhi is doing exactly that, I realized that Chatak Foods and most of their products are all about convenience for the modern day consumer and the modern day user and anybody living in this very modern day world. Yesterday, Chef Ahmed Raval introduced us to the Chatak curry paste, and basically that Chatak curry paste shaves all of the prep time that you would need to prepare your curry and your mixture for any of your curry dishes. You literally start with an oiled pot and you move on to adding the curry paste and cook whatever else it is that you're cooking. And tonight we're being introduced to the Peera mix, and I suspect other things will be coming later on because we're making 2 desserts to start.
Right. Now, I start with dessert because there's a saying in life, you never know how long life may be, so eat dessert first.
I love
something
it.
to that extent.
I live by that philosophy. I start with dessert first.
So we've started with our dessert by putting the simple sugar syrup onto the stove. I just want to show you what it looks like. So we have 1 pound of sugar into hot water, and we're going to wait and allow this to boil until it's half the amount.
Okay.
Right? Can our viewers see what's going on in that pot?
So we're hoping for a 50% reduction in our sugar water mixture, and whilst that is happening, we're going to start preparing.
So the Peera flour is now inside of the pot. This product is called Chatak's Peera Mithai Mix, meaning that it's like a cake mix. Everything is already there. You just have to add whatever you want to make it different. So today we are going to add, according to the recipe on the pack. Help me out with that recipe. So the 1 cup of sugar and the half pound of half pound of sugar and 1 cup of water is already inside of the pot. Let's go condensed milk, ghee, and ginger or cardamom.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So the Peera mix not only saves you time, effort, everything else, and it's quite economical, but it also comes with the 1, 2, 3 step-by-step guide as to what you need to do to end up with the finished product, and lays out very clearly for you the 5 major ingredients that you're going to need to make your Peera, apart from the Peera mix itself. And as Siddhi mentioned, sugar mixture, sugar and water already up, and we're hoping to have that reduced soon. And now we're moving on to Anchor Cow Brand Pure Ghee, which is the official ghee of our Divali Nagar Booth here at 103 FM's Divali Nagar Booth.
So we're going to add 1 cup of clarified butter, or in this case, cow brand ghee.
Cow brand ghee.
Yeah. So I'm just going to eyeball it once more. 1 cup. And we're going to let this sit on at the side. It's very important at this point not to mix your Peera. What you're going to end up with is a very lumpy Peera mixture. And Peera is known for its very smooth texture.
Yes.
Right? It's a little bit grainy because of the flour that is used, but it's very smooth and it melts in your mouth very easily.
Yes.
Yeah? Next we have rainbow condensed milk, and we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of condensed milk. And again, we're just going to let it sit off to the side of the Peera mix.
Yes. Now, for those of you who've been cooking for quite a while, you would probably have your averages like Siddhi does, almost spot on. If you're new to the kitchen, or you're just trying it for the first time, we would recommend that you use the proper mixtures and
Yes.
use your measuring instruments to ensure that you don't stray too far from what is recommended.
recipe.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, we're going to add our element of flavor to this dish. Now, flavor also comes from the cow brand ghee, because that element of fat inside of this dish, it really is what is going to carry the flavors through. Whenever you encounter spices, in this case whole elaichi and ground elaichi, the flavors you really get is from the fatty elements in the spice. Those oils, natural oils, as you massage them and grind them, you're really releasing the flavor into your dishes. So today we're going to add how much?
And we all know that the fat is, the flavor is almost always in the fat, yeah, so we're going to add 1 teaspoon of cardamom. Yeah.
At this point in time, like I said, we're going to wait for that to come to a boil and reduce by half. I'm just going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to introduce you to another product.
So we're not mixing. We're not mixing as yet.
Not mixing right now.
Okay.
So I'm just showing you and introducing these products to you, so that when we actually bring it together, you realize how fast it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So all of that has been extremely easy and simple enough to follow. And for the bachelors in the audience, and for those who have no culinary experience, no kitchen time whatsoever under their belt, I think that's easy enough for anybody to follow. So we could make Peera, and I say we because I include myself in that group.
What's your position in making sweets for Diwali?
What's my position? I've never made sweets for Diwali. I've never made sweets for any other occasion. So this is full crash course 101 for me.
So we're going to make it easy for you this year, right? So we spoke about our Peera flour. Now we're going to move on to our Ladoo mix. So the Ladoo mix is very similar to the Peera flour.
So basically, Chatak Foods has become and continues to be sort of the Betty Crocker of Diwali dishes.
Why not?
Yes. Whenever you're looking for something that is pre-made, pre-mixed, and convenient, and that saves you time, just go into the supermarket and check the aisle with all of the Chatak products and pick up your mixtures. And these are available at supermarkets all across the country already.
All across the country,
Yes.
all the major supermarkets.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And if your supermarket doesn't carry these Chatak products,
should
you
tell
need
them
to
about
switch
it.
supermarkets.
And tell them about it. Make sure that they get it in their area.
Most definitely. So the Ladoo mix, explain to me if the process was similar.
Right. So the Ladoo mix, the process is actually very much similar. It takes about 4 hours to prepare. The ingredients are, if you see here, chickpeas flour. And yesterday, Chef Raval introduced you to chickpeas, right?
Yes, he did.
So chickpeas are garbanzo beans. They are very high in protein. We can also use split peas flour. A lot of people in Trinidad use split peas flour because it is very economical, it's easy to find, and it's basically easy to use,
Yes.
right? It takes a lot less cooking time than most flours. It also has a lot of protein. I guess you would have touched on that last night as well.
We certainly did, yes.
How did we go about making this? A batter is made using split peas flour or chickpeas flour, and you make that with water alone, fry it. Are you familiar with a tool called the jarna?
The jarna.
Do you know that?
No, I feel like I've just been introduced to it.
A slotted spoon?
Is there another name for it?
A slotted spoon.
A slotted spoon, okay.
You know the thing is, take your fries out of?
Yes,
Right.
yes, so that it can drain properly, yes.
Right. So it's massaged through the jarna to form something like a pylori. And that's fried till a very crunchy, hard texture. When it's fried, it's cooled and ground, and we get this. So sometimes you may see, and people may worry, why is it that the ladoo mix has this oil settling in the back? That is the frying process. Nothing is wrong with it. It's just that, that's
There will be some residual left over
oil
from the frying process,
left
regardless
back.
of whatever fried dish you consume, there will be.
Yes.
Yeah, that's guaranteed. So for those who are just tuning in or maybe just joining us for the very first time, yesterday we had the chance to be alongside Chef Raval, and yesterday we made curried chickpeas, curry chana, and we also made a garam masala chickpeas, and that was pretty awesome. I had the chance, just like yesterday, to be in the thick of it, in the mix of it. It certainly was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and having these experiences and sharing them on these digital and other platforms, I think it's really, really, really wonderful, because it really it amazes me how simple the processes are.
It is, yeah.
And it's encouraging. So it's providing motivation for those of us who don't normally spend time in the kitchen to want to go experiment a little bit, like the ladoo mix and the Peera mix. After having shaved off 4 hours of prep time, it's very easy. You just get right into the thick of it. I love it. I love it.
So again, in 1, 2, 3 fashion, we are going to add the ghee. Now this is optional. You can add ghee or you don't have to. I'm just adding 1 tablespoon of ghee this time, because you have all that fat coming from the mix already. Then we're going to add 1/3 cup of rainbow condensed milk, averaging once again. And the last ingredients for this is your ginger and elaichi. Again, our elements of flavor.
So these are all pretty much the same ingredients that we used for the Peera mix as well.
And of course you can change that up. If you look in the front here, I would have used different spices when I was making these Peera samples. This Peera, I used ground spice.
This is beautiful, by the way.
I use ground spice here, or cinnamon, and a little bit of red food coloring just to give it that pizzazz, I guess.
Yes.
Right? And in the same fashion that you'll see how we made the Peera, I made the Peera and I garnished it. Not garnish, you garnish savory dishes, but you decorate desserts. I decorated my Peera with almonds. In this one, we use saffron threads. Now these come from a little flower found in France, and that gives you a yellow color. So you can have fun, definitely, with your Peera and your ladoo. If inside of your ladoo you feel you want to do something different, you can chop pistachios, drop them inside of the ladoo, and mix.
So I can have one mixture that I then, as you said, decorate into different dishes, so it gives the appearance as though I have a spread on Diwali day.
Yeah, so buy 2 packs of ladoo mix, buy 2 packs of Peera, and make 1 pistachio Peera, and make 1 almond Peera.
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Beautiful. And just in case you didn't get that memo because you didn't hear about it yesterday, everything that is being made on this stage is going to be available for sampling inside the 103 FM booth. I've already had the chance to sample what the ladoo and what the Peera tastes like, and I was absolutely amazed by it. And I'll tell you why, if we're being extremely honest. You know, sometimes you go and you get your ladoo and your peera and it's dry, and we don't like that dry consistency. As a matter of fact, when Siddhi tried to get me to sample it earlier, I asked if there was any water or drinks close by because I'm accustomed to that sort of texture. But I guarantee you, when you taste the ladoo and peera that we've got available at the booth, using this very said recipe and using those very said mixtures, you will be very, very pleasantly surprised, just like I was.
You know what he told me? Peera is the barfi that nobody eats, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
And that's the only reason that I've never fancied peera before, because I'm not sure if I'm going to the wrong houses, if I'm getting invited by the wrong people, or if it is that I'm purchasing at the wrong places. But I don't think I've had a good moist peera as I did earlier tonight.
But Fazeer, now you don't have to go nowhere to buy peera. You're making it at home with Chatak peera mix.
Please don't give my wife ideas. And you know what?
Really
apart from the samples that we've got of these two dessert dishes, we also have some other surprises up our sleeve, because whilst these things are being prepared, we are going to share the recipe with you and show you exactly how to execute this recipe on stage for a really, really intriguing and different dish. It's certainly not your ordinary Diwali Day dish, but it's one that will really help your spread to stand out when your guests visit your home.
Now, Fazeer, dessert is one thing, but you know me, I always like to spoil 103 and the staff and even the visitors to the 103 FM booth. So today I'm going to make something a little bit special, just because it's you. We're going to make some stuffed mushrooms. And we're not just going to stuff these mushrooms. In the spirit of Diwali, we're going to stuff these mushrooms with curry, because Diwali is incomplete without curry.
I've never had curried mushroom in any form or fashion. So this, and I'm a big mushroom fan, I love mushrooms, I love biting into it and getting that nice moisture, the juices, natural juices of the mushroom flowing out into your mouth. I'm not sure if I fully grasp the concept of curried mushrooms as yet, but let's see how it goes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're not actually going to chunky all these mushrooms in the pot. We're going to get that element of curry, but in a very dignified, dainty way, where we're going to stuff this mushroom with some curried soya and the mushroom stems, right? So I'm just going to go and show you how quickly it is to use Chatak curry paste to impart a lot of flavor in a very little bit of time.
And of course we're using the Chatak soya chunks as well.
Yes. So I'm going to show you how we're just going to take these mushrooms, button mushrooms. They're available now in most supermarkets.
Yes.
So we're going to just take off the stems and some of the inner lining of those mushrooms. You want to help, huh?
I would love to, but you make it look so easy and, as you said, so dainty.
Thanks, Fazeer. Thanks.
It's pretty awesome. Nice and easy, and you've had these out, because sometimes you purchase in the supermarket and you get them cold.
Right.
So you've had these sitting out to get them to room temperature?
Yes.
Yes?
That will help us cook a lot easier, cook a lot faster. When mushrooms are cold, they tend to release a lot of moisture.
Yes.
So keeping them at room temperature is always better. And we're just going to take off the skins here from the underneath of the mushroom. Basically forming a hollow part which we are going to stuff.
Yes.
Now, like I said, hard times, we're being economical. We're not going to waste any part of these mushrooms. What I did was that I cut up the stems, which we are then going to add with our soya, carrying that mushroom flavor into the filling, right?
Okay, that's really wonderful. And these cut stems look exactly like, stems and pieces that you purchase pre-made in supermarkets and that sort of stuff. So
it's actually very easy to grow your own mushrooms at home. So my advice, if you are fans of mushrooms, go on YouTube and start planting your own vegetables at home. You will be able to, save a lot of money and save a lot of time from going to the grocery and all those things.
Yeah, and we know that mushrooms can fetch a pretty hefty price depending on the type of mushroom that you're going for, especially if you're trying to buy fresh mushrooms at times, and of course depending on your supermarket of choice too. So that's pretty sound economical advice.
Yes, well, I did study food production, right? And food safety and quality assurance. And that was one of the things that the university really advocated. Planting at home and making the nation more food secure.
Yes.
And that's my advice to all our onlookers, all our visitors to the 103 FM booth. Take food as a priority. Eat healthy, eat homegrown food, and you'll be healthy and you'll have a longer life.
Correct. You know, like I married into a family where they were absolutely amazed at the fact that we used to purchase simple seasonings in our households, and my wife came from a family where everything, almost everything, came from their garden. You know, they had all this garden space and that sort of stuff, and still to this day it's the same thing. And if you start thinking about it, when you actually start doing it, you realize just how much money you save.
Yes.
When you have to pay $5 for a bundle of chive or a bundle of bandania or whatever the case may be, those things add up. $5 may seem insignificant, but on a weekly basis, it begins to add up. And by the time you do the math, you're saving hundreds, if not thousands.
Yep. So, just get a little bottle scar here. So, we're going to use now Nariyal coconut cooking oil into a small pan. And just like Chef did it yesterday, a very small amount of oil. And we're going to use the Chatak curry paste. So I'm being very generous with my curry paste because this curry paste has all of the spices that you will need for any curry. It means spices, seasonings, everything. Remember what we have in here?
Yes, I ran through that listing yesterday, and there's everything except the kitchen sink in that you need to help you out in the kitchen.
I invented this for Chatak.
It's really beautiful, and you know, I commented yesterday with Chef Raval after he added the water to the mixture, after he added the water to the curry. You could actually see all of the ingredients when they started to float up, when they started to pop out. So you could see the little stems, the little pieces of the greenery, and when the water was added, the color popped. So what starts off and what looks like just a regular yellow curry paste in this Chatak container, in this Chatak dish, it really does pop and add so much more color and vibrancy to the dish as well as it did yesterday. So I'm expecting obviously the same thing tonight because we're using the same product.
So I added our Chatak curry paste. I'm also going to add some whole jeera to this pot. And we're going to let them just bubble a little bit. When I say bubble, like I said, the oil is what is going to impart the flavor throughout the dish. So in our pot, we have our Chatak curry paste, Nariyal coconut oil, and some whole Chatak jeera.
I think it's also very important, since you spoke about healthy eating earlier, Siddhi, to just mention that all of the ingredients here, almost all of the ingredients that we're using are some of, if not the healthiest choices and healthiest ingredients that you can add to your dishes. You know, there has been over time a lot of misinformation circulating, like for instance about clarified butter, about ghee, about coconut oil, and the science is now in, and it refutes all of those false claims made before. So cooking with coconut oil, which is a tradition passed down to us by our ancestors, the Americans told us after a while that it wasn't healthy, you were adding too much unhealthy fats to your diet, and now they've come full circle around. The science is clear. It is singularly so one of the healthiest oils that you can cook with, and it does pack a punch with the healthy fats as well. So you're getting your omega-3s and all of your healthy fats.
It's the most rounded oil because when you look at olive oil is very high in polyunsaturated fats. But saturated fat is also important for the development of our cells. Nutrition and dietetics now. So we have to understand the science of our foods and not just take everything lightly. So the next thing we're going to add to our pot is mushrooms. So we have our mushroom pieces.
And these are the same mushroom pieces that we just saved when we prepared our button mushrooms.
Mushroom caps.
Yeah.
Right? And now we have some Chatak soya. Now this Chatak soya is a minced variety. If you look at it here, this is perfect for when you're making soya lasagnas, if you want to stuff any sort of non-veg, even vegetables. You can cut an eggplant, curry everything, stuff it inside of the eggplant and bake it the same way we're doing our mushrooms today. So the Chatak minced soya is perfect for those applications. So here I have about a cup of soaked Chatak minced soya, and we're just gonna let it, in local parlance, chunky, right?
It looks beautiful already. And that sound of that sizzle, that's the sound that you look forward to in any kitchen. In any traditional Trini kitchen, that's that sizzle that you're looking forward to. If you don't hear that sizzle, you haven't really cooked a meal as yet, boy.
So you're gonna see all the colors coming through from that curry paste now. And again, it's very simple. The curry paste, the oil, the jeera, the element, just to make the curry paste a little bit different. Every dish that you make, you don't want it to taste the same.
Correct.
You don't want it to look the same. So in this case, we added jeera just to spice it up a little bit more. You know what is bunje?
Bunje, yes.
Tell me, what is bunje?
Isn't that what you're doing now?
Bunje is when you hear the shh.
So when you added your ingredients.
What do
earlier,
you
right?
do to get a bunje?
Siddhi, I don't want to steal the thunder from you, so I'm going to let you explain that to everybody.
Well, we have some crystal water here, so we're gonna
Gotta
go
add the water, yes.
right? And again, more elements of flavor. We are creating today a stuffing using the Chatak curry paste, which is all the seasonings and everything. You ever stuff karaili? They
No.
call that kalonji.
I've never stuffed karaili because I'm not normally a karaili fan. It's one
But
of
there
the
are
few
lots of
foods that I
people
don't
who
eat.
like karaili, and they usually create a filling for karaili. And what they will do is, some of them steam the karaili first, cut it in half, fill it with some sort of filling, and that filling is a mix of savory and sour.
So could we put some of that curried soya chunks and stuff the karaili with that?
Definitely.
Because that sounds like something I'd be willing to try, because I'm not a fan of karaili just because of the bitterness of it sometimes.
Right.
But if that curry, I'm trying to imagine that curry sort of tapering off
Right.
the bitterness of that karaili.
So you're gonna get flavors of amchar masala from Chatak Foods. You're gonna get the jeera coming through, and then after you're gonna fry that karaili, so you get a nice caramelized outside.
I do, however, eat anchar karaili.
Right.
Because that normally doesn't carry the bitterness,
Right.
of the karaila. So that's pretty good stuff. I'm looking. Are we making that tonight?
No.
We're not doing that tonight.
That's too much work right now. We're
Okay,
going
but-
simple here.
But if you can get me to start eating karaila before the 9 nights of this nagar are over, that would be perfect.
I'll take that up as a challenge. I'll talk to Chef Raval and see what he could do.
And especially so because of the fact that karaila has been proven to be a food that is really good for diabetics.
Yes.
And you know that just seems to run in our nature. All our people of East Indian descent, it's just something that seems to be that seems to affect us more.
Yes. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to add some of Chatak's tamarind sweet sauce. Now Chatak's tamarind chutney is one of the highest, how do I say it? It's one of the most sold tamarind chutney in Trinidad and in the US, right? This tamarind chutney, in the local variety, our tamarind chutney really is a star product. So what we've done is that we've made a spin-off product from the tamarind chutney, which is the tamarind sweet sauce. Now, a lot of people use the tamarind chutney in different applications, using it in stuffings, using it as a dip, using it to add some sour to really round off a meal. So today, I'm using some of the tamarind sweet sauce in our soya just to give it that really rounded flavor.
That's really just a touch. We
Yep.
haven't even broken the neck of the bottle.
The bottle,
So just to give you an idea of the quantity.
right? Now we're going to add salt to taste. Now each one of these elements would have already have salt, right? So you don't want to put too much salt. You want to look at high blood pressure and cholesterol and those kind
And
of
as I
things.
learned yesterday, or was reminded yesterday by Chef Raval, add a little, you can always add more, but you can very
Right.
rarely take
Take
away
out.
from the salt that you've already added. So a little goes a long way, and if you need more, we can add to that after.
That's very true. So,
This is looking really lovely, Siddhi.
so
Really,
at
really
this
lovely.
point, we're going to allow this to dry down so that we can form the filling for our mushrooms.
And are we checking on our reduction? Okay.
I just did. We're going okay
Okay.
so far. So I'm just going to show our viewers, once that filling is done, you're going to see what our mushrooms are going to look like stuffed. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the finished mushroom product.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now, when she says she's going to reveal the finished mushroom product, what you need to know is that although we are showing you the processes during the course of this segment, Siddhi and her team at Chatak are preparing these dishes in advance of, so that you, whenever you visit the booth, are able to sample all of the dishes that are made on stage here at the 103 booth at Divali Nagar. So a lot of work would have gone into preparing the Peera and the Ladoo, because we've got tons of samples available within the booth, and same applies as well to our button mushrooms stuffed with the Chatak soya chunks as well, the curried Chatak soya chunks. So Siddhi, have we gotten to the point where we're going to sample, Azia?
You can sample that, but that just came out.
Okay, so we're just going to leave this a little
Let
bit,
it cool
let it
a
cool.
little bit.
Okay,
I want some preferences, man.
so this is wonderful, and I'm not sure if anybody has, if anybody's entered the booth as yet and sampled any of the products. Would it be possible for me to get one of the samples of the Peera and the Ladoo, so I could also show them, since we're revealing,
Definitely.
I can show you what the finished Peera and Ladoo look like. And these are the samples that are available at our booth. This is also just my excuse to get another sample. And mind you, again, I'm not normally a fan of these two items in particular, but as of tonight, I am officially a convert. Would you like to have a bite?
No,
No?
you're all good.
You're dieting?
No, I cough and just cough.
Coffee, okay. so we're starting with our Peera. Just as good as the first time. That was really just as good as the first time. It's soft, it's sweet, it's smooth, it's decadent, it's done. And we're moving on to a Ladoo.
I just watching you going down on that, right? You know we have more, so.
I know, but this really is, like, for me, this really is quite surprising. I think my family members would be very surprised that I ate it and that I'm eating it again, and I'm still gonna have a third serving after. This is the Ladoo. I'll break it so you can see how soft and easy. No effort, effortless.
Now, the good thing about making your laddu and Peera at home is that you can make it to your texture and your liking. Some people, they may want to make their laddu flat. Nothing is wrong with that, because you can do it flat, cut it in diagonals, and again, decorate it in the way that you like, with pistachios, with even sprinkles if your heart desires that. So we're going to turn back our attention to our laddu and Peera, because our simple sugar syrup is ready for us.
So remember, we laid out these ingredients for you earlier. We laid out the mixtures, and it was very simple. Everything came straight from the packaging into the basins that we've got on the table, and we've only been waiting on our simple sugar mixture to be ready for us to add to these mixes. Now, Siddhi did mention earlier that we don't start stirring until the simple sugar mixture is ready, and as she said, it's just about ready. So we're moving on to the next step.
Right. The next step would be having, excuse me. Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
The next step would be using our Anchor cow bran butter ghee. And we're just using a little bit and using a pan. Now this is a non-stick pan, right? But again, elements of fat is flavor. And when you're making your mithai, you don't really want to skimp on flavor, especially if you're going to have guests.
Correct. Correct. These are the
Right.
little things you do that add that extra burst of flavor and that extra bit
Excitement.
of richness and excitement to your product.
Right. So it's important that when you're making Peera, again, you're not mixing it just yet because you don't want it to clump. And just removing this spoon know the stool?
That's what I used to get licks with, I remember, if I recall correctly.
This
That's
is
what
a
I think
dab.
most of us used to get licks with a long time ago.
This is a dabbler. And it's one of the most
Fed kitchen utensils. That's what you were saying?
versatile
Versatile, okay.
kitchen
Okay,
utensils.
versatile.
It can be used as a spatula, it can be used as a spoon, it can be used to mix and do so many different things, especially beef.
Siddhi, you sound as though you're not a part of that generation.
Boy, I used to hide all the dabblers in my house behind the bed.
By quick show of hands, anybody is a part of, was a part of, or grew up as a part of that dabbler generation where the dabbler was the fed utensil? Yes, they know, they all know. Some are more willing to admit it than others. Some were the givers and some were the receivers.
I used to receive, and when my auntie was alive, all the dabblers in the kitchen drawer used to be behind the bed because I used to hide them.
Yes, and if
So-
you were unfortunate to come from a household where you had roti makers with the big towers, then you were really unfortunate because those dabblers used to come arm's length long. So,
So we have our simple sugar syrup that has reduced by half,
mhm.
and you're gonna add this. Now we're making two different dishes here, right? So
Right.
I catered enough for both.
Okay. And remember, that's just rainbow sugar and water,
Right.
our crystal premium purified water.
I'm gonna need some more.
All right. And again, always add less. You can always go back to add some more.
We're gonna need all of this water.
You can always add more, but
In this case, we need it all.
okay.
And you're gonna bring all this together, and this is how you're gonna make the peera. Now you
Just-
start off slow because simple sugar syrup is easy to burn, and it burns really badly, okay? And you're gonna see this coming in. As the ghee melts, it's going to add that element of flavor to you. And that simple sugar is going to pull very fast. When we say pull, it means that this peera is going to dry. So you're going to see this come in. And very quickly, do a transfer.
So you've got to be on your P's and Q's for this one. That's probably one of the more important steps in making your
Definitely.
pura, definitely, and it's very time sensitive. So as soon as you add your sugar mixture, you've got to start stirring. Start slowly, as he said, because you can get burnt pretty badly with that sugar mixture.
And then you spread it out to coat your entire pan.
Oh, this is already looking lovely. I feel like if I were a child again, I'd be dipping my finger, if not into that, into the basin and licking it. But can we?
It's hot, but you can.
No, but we could. It's
Yes.
edible as is.
It is done.
It's done.
So at this point
So
in
just to
time,
lay and cool.
you're going to lay a peera to cool and allow it to set. Now this will take about 40 to 50 minutes to dry completely. And as it dries, it's going to level out itself.
Oh, that's interesting. But we give it as much help as possible beforehand.
Just to make sure it's smooth.
Good.
So that it comes together very easily.
And even textures as well, so that when we start
Cutting
when we
into
start
it.
cutting, we can get even pieces.
Right.
Okay, wonderful.
Right? Now it will also help if you add more sugar water, but your sugar water must not be too runny. It should be thick enough that it forms this paste very easily.
And what's the risk if it is a little too runny?
Then it wouldn't set in time.
Gotcha. So you'll be stirring for quite a while.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the same way that you would have done this, you would do the ladoo. Unfortunately, I ran out of sugar water, but you will mix the ladoo in the very same fashion using the recipe provided on the pack, and you'll get a similar
Mixture,
texture
yes.
mixture. At that point in time, you allow that to cool because you don't want the ladoos to burn your hand.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, you're going to take the ladoo flour, the ladoo mixture. I'm just going to give you a sample of what it will be, right? Just like this, and roll it. And nothing is stopping you from making round peeras as well, right? Yeah? So at this point in time, that wraps up our cooking segment. What we will do is that I'll bring one more sample for you from the back.
I love it. Now, I noticed that this guy is sitting there all lonely and by himself. Can that be eaten
Yes.
as is? Yes?
He can be eaten.
Beautiful. Cheers. Oh, that is rich. And
That's the ghee, and definitely it's the ghee.
that is really rich. That is beautiful. That consistency, that texture. That's anchor right there.
Now, as it sets, Anchor cow brand ghee, you can add a little bit on the top of the peera as well. I want you to turn your attention to your stuffed mushrooms, Fazeer.
I would love to turn attention to the stuffed mushrooms.
Do you want me to plate it for you?
Sorry?
I can plate it for you.
I feel more at home if I'm able to have it straight from, but let's just eliminate the burn risk. This is lovely. Is it very hot? Okay, so these are button mushrooms stuffed with curried Chatak soya chunks. That's amazing. That's juicy. That's different. It also has a pop of flavor. Is that from the jeera?
Yes.
So that pop comes from the jeera. But that is incredible. If you cook this for Diwali and invite me, there's no way I'm turning it down.
So, you know what? This is a good take. I mean, you can make all your mushrooms filled and keep them in the refrigerator. And on Diwali evening, just before your guests come, you can just pop them in the oven and there you have fresh hors d'oeuvres, fresh appetizers, hot and unique.
That is beautiful. I hope you enjoyed our presentation here tonight. Wait, no, you can't eat alone. I need to give you. Hold on. Cheers. Cheers. You should never eat alone. Dining is
Thank you.
it's best done together. Cheers. Thank you again for joining us for Divali Khaana. We will have another episode to share with you tomorrow. Other amazing dishes. Join us here at the 103 FM booth as we present this special segment to you tomorrow again. Siddhi will be joining us again, courtesy Chatak Foods Limited. Meanwhile, it's dinner time. We'll catch you tomorrow.